Hi, this is Mr. Max. So I am doing cumulative frequency. I'll be doing them in a small parts, like 4 parts. So this is just the how to find the cumulative frequency, and after that I'm going to do the diagram and stuff like that. Okay, so cumulative frequency is basically just the sum of all the previous frequencies that you add up as you go along. Okay, so for example, I have a table here, and this table shows the marks of 100 learners, mathematics marks. All right, it's distributed across. So for example, learners who have between 0 and 10, 3 of them. Learners who have between 31 and 40, or they are 14. And learners who scored between 61 and 70, for example, are 11. Okay, so this is your table that you have here. So we need to first of all construct a cumulative frequency table, a table that shows how these this total is sort of adding up, so that, for example, if I was say how many learners have obtained 20 marks or less, that would be the 3 plus 8, 11 learners. Okay, how many learners have obtained 30 marks or less? So it will be the sum of that, which is 20. 3 plus 8 plus 9. Okay, so for that I bring in this part, and so this first interval here shows the number of learners who have scored less than or equal to 10 marks, and from that we now know the learners who scored less than or equal to 20 marks. As I said, you just go ahead and add them, and the learners or the students who scored less than 30 marks or equal to 30 marks, they are 9 plus 8 plus 3, because if someone has 3 out of the test, or someone has if someone have 11 out of the test, or if someone has 15 out of the test, or if someone has 22 out of the test, they are still scoring less than or equal to 30. So the number of learners then, or students, are 20. And so you go ahead and add them as you go up with your totals. Bottom line, I indicated this 100 here in light blue because that is what we're supposed to have towards the end as we are adding the frequencies. Okay, so the learners or the students who have got 80 or less, they are going to be the sum of all of these: 3 plus 8 plus 9 plus 14 plus 19 plus 12 plus 11 plus 10. All right, and so you see that at the end you should obviously arrive at 100. It should correspond to the information that you're given. Okay, right, so there's a B part. It says use the frequency table, the cumulative frequency table, and answer or estimate the number of students who scored less than 50.5 marks. Now, learners who scored 50 marks who scored less than are all these learners here. All these 3 plus 8 plus 9 plus 14, even these learners here. All right, so they are not yet scoring 51, so it's 50.5. So we are just going to pick from the table, and it is just 53 students. The number of students who scored at least 50.5 marks, that means at least, that means they can be more than that. All right, so it means the learners could also score 72 or 81 or, God forbid, 100. So the least mark, you simply take the 100 and you minus by the 53, and that gives you 47 learners. Right, so this question is just a small probability question. They say find the probability that when you choose a student at random, that student scored less than 70.5 marks. So the learners who scored less than 70.5 marks, so we're going to have 76 of them out of 100, and that simplifies to 19 out of 25. All right, so I bring in the second question real quick. So we are told here the length of 40 insects of a certain species, they were measured correct to the nearest millimeter, and the table here, the frequency distribution, is given here in this table. So you can study it, you can make sure you understand it. So one insect has got a length between 25 and 30 centimeters, but not more than 30 centimeters. Or 6 insects have got lengths between 35 and 40 centimeters, but not more than 40. All right, so the length of a insect here, the 6 of them here, they have got, not scored, but their measured length is less than 40 centimeters or equal to 40 centimeters, but they are bigger than 35 millimeters. Excuse me. All right, so now we're supposed to construct a cumulative frequency table, so we have to add the frequencies as we go along again. So this is what I do, and this is how my interval now looks. So the number of insects that are less than 30 centimeters long is just going to be 1, but the number of insects that are less than or equal to 35 centimeters will be 1 plus 3, which is the 4, and number of insects that are less than or equal to 40 centimeters, 1 plus 3 plus 6, which is 10, and so on. All right, so we can answer some questions real quick from the table now. Find the number of insects which are 50 millimeters or less in length. So 50 milliliters, there's just simply going to be 32. More than 45. More than 45. So more than 45, you're going to take now 40 minus the 20, because more than 45 means we're looking at this interval here, all right, which is basically going to be that 10 plus that 6 plus that 2, okay, which is just 18. Right, then one last question here says find the number of insects which are more than 35 millimeter. So that is here, all right, but less than 50 millimeters. So you just go to 50, take that 32, and you take that 4, and you subtract them from each other. And the answer is 28. So more than 35, so that's this 6 plus this 12 plus this 10, okay, that gives you 28, okay, 6 plus 12 plus 10, or simply just say 32 minus 4.